Not only are we dealing with the weather, we're dealing with also some pest problems. Hi guys, it's Keith and Lori from Home Right. We are in the garden and transitioning some of the beds from, this used to be a tomato bed, and we're actually transitioning to a fall bed of collards in this bed and mostly dinosaur kale over there. There's a few things that we're working on in this bed that I want to kind of zoom in and show you what's going on. But before I do that, the tomatoes, we're basically starting to remove the tomatoes because it's the end of the season and they're just not looking really good. We're having a battle also with the squirrels. So we've lost a lot of our vegetables. So we're starting what we're calling second batches in hopes to see if we can still get a couple of vegetables before the end of the season. Harvest has been difficult. Not only are we dealing with the weather, we're dealing with also some pest problems, some rodent problems. The squirrels have turned the tomatoes into their feast in the morning and night. So if I don't pick the tomatoes early enough, they're literally sitting on the fence. Let me show you. Look, there's my little friend back there, sneaking away. There he goes. Yep. So this is literally what they're doing. They're literally getting to my tomatoes and they are just annihilating my tomatoes. So we're starting to get rid of the tomatoes. We do have a couple of small newer ones, transplants down in the beds, trying to see if we can get a second batch of tomatoes. But over here, see Keith is draping over the netting. We're trying to protect these kale and collards from the white moth, and at the same time these little recycled hummus cups are being used. We put beer in it in order to reduce the pest impact from the pill bugs or the roly-polies. And then one more thing that we're doing is for each one of the little plants, we've put a little collar around them, again, to protect them from the pill bugs and the roly-polies, because we got them really, they're bad in these beds. So Keith is just draping over the cloth. This is actually tulle. This is the same stuff that is used in a wedding dress, basically, or the veil. It was really cheap in order to buy it. Did you get it online?
Yeah, I think we got it. I mean, it was cheaper than insect netting. It seems to be working just fine. And these pieces got a couple of holes in them. I'm just reusing the stuff from earlier and last spring and the stuff we had over the berries. So dirt cheap compared to insect netting. It seems to be working pretty good.
So, and there's one more thing we're going to do with this bed, and I'll show you that in a minute. So these collards in the back are a little bit taller, so let me show from the side. You can see the tent is a little bit higher. And then all we're doing down here at the bottom is using a clothesline clip to hold them taut so they don't blow away, and it keeps out the white moths. So the other part of this that we're experimenting with is a little bit of shade cloth. So this is a 40% shade cloth, and it's been a couple of weeks since we planted these, so they are definitely getting a little bit bigger. And I think the shade cloth is really working really well. It's definitely helping a lot. And so far, the little collars are working very well. It's keeping out the pill bugs, and we are getting a little bit of damage on these, but it's not the cabbage moths. It is actually the armyworms. So we are out here trying to find the armyworms that are actually eating the collards. So got rid of the moths, but now we're dealing with armyworms. So we're also treating the armyworms with BT. But basically the vest is coming out here, looking on the back of the leaves, trying to find the actual armyworm and manually picking them off. But other than that, so far they're growing, they're looking pretty good. We did go ahead and start another batch because I know this is a little bit early. So like I said, starting a couple more seeds inside, some collards and kale. We have a couple other seeds starting in here. Got some cabbage, a little bit of broccoli. Starting some purple sprouting broccoli. A whole bunch of brushwood sprouts. Then a little mix of different things here. I think this is a little bit of Russian kale and some more broccoli in the back there. So like I said, it's just an experiment with the shade cloth, but I think we were really liking using the shade cloth, and we're probably going to experiment a few more times with this.